Forex Fortune Hunters Tom Wilmot. Happy to have you on board today, and we're going to work on a new template called Super GMMA. Daryl Guppy is a fantastic analyst, technical analyst from Australia, and he created a book about multiple moving averages, and it's become a cornerstone of what I do. Today we're going to build this Super GMMA template of ours in Metatrader, and I'm going to show you step by step how to get this positioned so that it will bring you many pips. So hold on to your hats, get ready. We'll start right after this. Okay, Fortune Hunters, what we're going to do, as I mentioned in the intro, is build our Super GMMA template. It's a little different than what we've been focused on lately, which is the trend magic and the chandelier, but it will give you something that you can switch back and forth to just get a different visual reference. And I really think it's important to be able to just do that. Not only is it easier on your eyes not to be staring at the same thing all day long, but it just gives you a different insight into how the price is moving. But it's all based on the same principle, and that is multiple moving averages. That's where GMMA comes from. Daryl Guppy, for G for Guppy, is an Australian analyst that wrote a whole book about multiple moving averages, and it's really become a key part of all I do in trading because it gives you a chance to see when there are pullbacks in the midst of a trend. Okay, I won't drone on about that anymore. Let's get right to it. What we want to do is add some moving averages, and I've created some other templates just to build this for you so you can see how this works. Let's take a look at AA2 here. And you can see we've added now a 12 EMA, 16, 20, 24, and this lower line is at 28, I believe. And in this particular set of indicators, I've also added my medallion, the medallion here, and actually we can come into the indicators list. What I did here was to right-click anywhere on the screen. That'll get you to properties, which can give you a grid or can give you the day over lines here, change colors of candles and all sorts of things like that. But up here is our indicators list, and that's where we can go to modify our indicators. So once again, we just right-clicked on the screen anywhere. To get that, I just did it again, indicators list. And I'll bring that over from my second monitor. What we've got now are our moving averages here. You can see that. And then I've added Wilmot Cross version 1.1. And this is installed in my Dropbox folder. And anybody that has emailed me, I'm happy to share a link to that so you can download the indicators for yourself. Let's go here and see what we've got going on. Here is our situation with our indicators. Now we've got our aqua. Let's make this bigger so that you can see that clearly. And once again, all I did was to come here and click on that one and then edit that. Let's change it. And you can see I've made now this medallion a larger size simply by going into that screen. And what happens when that medallion appears, and this was right at the end of a day with a very serious steep drop off, on the odd US, was that the 12 crossed over the 24. Likewise, when it crosses up through the 24, we get the white medallion, and you can see how that's just a helpful placeholder. And what I like to do here, and if you're just going to use this, it's pretty straightforward. I like to take a look at this and then say, okay, where's my first pullback into the bands? Here it is right here. We didn't have quite as much luck here. And just as a simple test of how we approach our trading, and then we'll come right back to building our indicator, let's take a look at this. Suppose what we do now, let's make this a little bigger by coming up here and just making the size bigger. Here was our medallion to the upside. Once again, we didn't have a real pullback into the bands on this 30-minute chart. But what I like to do then, just if this is getting ahead of me, I move my line, my vertical line, which I've added right to the candle directly after the changeover. Okay, and at that point then we can drop down. Let's drop down a 15-minute chart here. You can see we had a pullback into the bands right here. If we come into the 5-minute chart, even, let's move this back a little bit further. You have to kind of fuss with it. But take a look here. 5-minute chart, pulls right back into the bands, and this is what we've called compression in our book, The Amazing Zealander Flytrap Forex Trading Strategy on Amazon. So in any event, holy smoke, we have the ambulances going by outside. We have a pullback, we have compression of our moving averages, and there's the slingshot higher. And on a 5-minute chart, even with the odd, which is not that fast a mover typically, we had an 18 pip move on this 5-minute chart. So we had, in the period of about 45 minutes, a nice move to the north, then a pull back into the bands again, and a continuation higher. So there we go. That is our approach to trading at the most basic level. Now let's come back in and let's flesh out our template just a little bit more. What we're going to do now is drop it down again so we have this on the screen. Notice that I do not have any of my session time indicators on here yet. We'll add them in another video. I would say in the 30-minute time frame, if you're going to have 4 of those session time vertical lines on, it's a little messy. It's kind of distracting. So we'll show you later how to get the session times indicator or any of the other indicators to show up only in the time frames that you want. Okay. So now what I'd like to do is add yet another one, and it comes right from your typical onboard broker default indicators. And if you come down to custom, usually what they will do for you is they will give you the set of additional indicators. And let's take a look here. And what I'm looking for is GMMA long. Now, they have GMMA short as well, but I have my 12 to 24 to 28 EMA, so I don't need that one. So let's add the long in here. And we'll see how that looks. It's going to be violet colors. And you can see what happens is that you have this extra layer here of multiple moving averages. It pulls back up. And you can see that that's the resistance. You have to fight through that whole cloud to really get a changeover. And it wasn't until that began to happen here, you can see, that we had a change and a move up to the north. So basically now what we've got is our GMMA long. Some of us like to also use, if we can, an EMA, a longer EMA, in order to kind of give us a boundary. So let's see what we've got going here. Some of you who've traded with me in the past know about the T3 Tilson, that smooth moving average, and that can be used. But for simplicity purposes today, what we're going to do is simply use a dark orange, and we'll even make it really thick so you can see it. And I'm going to make it a 50-period exponential moving average. Now notice in this, you could also choose simple, smooth, or linear weighted. The smooth and the linear weighted actually really moves the weighting on the multiple average mathematics up to the front so that it's a very quick moving average, even a little bit quicker than exponential. But let's stick with exponential for now. We'll add that in and notice what we've got. We've got this nice boundary here. Now what I like to do also is let's show you one more thing here. Let's clean this up a little bit. We don't need this extra purple line. So what we'll do is we'll pull up our indicator list. We right-clicked on the screen. Now we've left-clicked, and here we are with GMMA long. Let's go into that one. Notice that we have, I know these are the longer ones down through here, so let's just turn off the color here. And let's even turn off the color here, just those bottom two. That'll just give us these 4. And now you can see we've erased that extra one, and it just cleans up the screen. But that really gives you a sense of what the bounces can be like here. A pullback here. You could even use the 50 as your stop loss level if you're not going to use a chandelier like we've used in Trend Magic. And so this is kind of an interesting way to begin to approach the GMMA template as multiple moving averages. And even with this kind of simplistic setup, you can see we have some nice ways to figure out what's going on. In other words, we don't have any short trades really here. Those would be counter trend trades. We don't want to take those even on a longer time frame. Once we've started and moved higher, And we can also think about this in the following way. If there are very, very short-term traders, they'd be represented by the 12. And the longer-term invested hold, probably off of a swing trade, an hour-long or a 4-hour chart even, would be represented here in the base level. So once you're trading in this kind of a channel, you can see very clearly you do not want to be selling against this whole audience of people who are continuing to buy and press price higher. Okay, one more indicator, and then we'll call it quits on this particular short video. What we're going to do now is to take a look at an oscillator. We'll add that to it. I love the relative strength index, and basically also in this particular one we have levels on it. I like to put a band between 45 and 55. Those of you who've traded with me know all about this. This is in silver. Let's just add it. I haven't changed the parameters at all. It's a 10-period RSI. Okay, so let's check that. Now what happens, notice, with the RSI, and it isn't necessarily different, it's just another confirmation. If you take a look here, what's happening is you have your pullback in motion. As you can see that what we've done, oops, sorry, keep moving that around, hope nobody gets seasick. You can see that what's happened here is it's pulled down into this 45-55 area, but it holds and then rebounds, and you can see that's the move to the north that you would get. If you wait for the pullback, don't take the trade up into here, wait for the pullback here. Also, your stop loss can fit right down neatly below here, and the risk reward improves dramatically for you. You have something of the 4 to 6 pips here on the Aussie dollar and a move to 23 pips higher. So that's clearly a 4 to 5 times reward to risk ratio, and that's what we'd like to be doing when we're trading. And this 30-minute chart gives you ample opportunity to check in every once in a while and see how things are developing. That's it for now. Please like and subscribe to our channel and hit that alarm bell on the subscribe area so that you'll get alerts on upcoming videos, and look for the next one as we continue to develop and finish off and trade this Super GMMA template. Thanks for watching.